So for the last few days I've been using the new Nikon Z 14 to 24 millimeter f2.8 S lens, and I've been getting some pretty awesome results with it. So today I want to go over this lens, show you how I'm liking it, show you some photos I've gotten with it, and see if it's worth the steep price tag it comes with. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So here I have the brand new Nikon Z 14 to 24 lens. So I've been super excited to get this lens for a while now, and I'm happy to finally have it. I'm going to show you some photos I've gotten with it, and I want to show you why it might be my new favorite lens. So before we dive into this, please hit that thumbs up button because it'll really help out the video as well as the channel. So I wanted this lens for a bunch of different reasons, but the main reason I wanted it was for Milky Way shooting. And it just so happens that it got released like perfectly timed after Milky Way season. So now I'll have to wait a few months to really test it out on peak Milky Way season. But nonetheless, I did go out last week on a clear night and did get this picture. As you can see, a majority of the peak Milky Way core is below the horizon, but I still had to get out and test out the lens on the Milky Way. With that said, I will definitely be looking forward to peak Milky Way conditions next year with this. Alrighty, let's look at the design of this lens. So right here you got your customizable ring. This will control either, you can make it control exposure compensation. You can control the aperture. Then obviously this right here is your zoom lens, and this is your focus ring. All the rings are super smooth, as you'd expect from these lenses. All these new Z lenses are great. I'm a huge fan of them. I love them. The build quality is phenomenal. And it also has this little light up display here that you can customize what shows up on it. It'll either show you what millimeters you're at, what f-stop you're at. You can go through a bunch of different ones. It also has a customizable button right here too, which I have not used yet, but it's there if you need it. And then your autofocus and manual focus switch. And then I also have the older F-mount version of this lens. This is what I've been using before I bought this. And as you can see, they're pretty comparable in size. The new Z mount is obviously a lot more sleek looking. It's a lot less bulky. A huge thing you'll notice is it is a lot lighter, almost half as light. And another thing is it doesn't have, see how the old F mount has the really rounded element? This doesn't have that, so you'll be able to use the screw-in filters, which is going to be really nice. And then with the way I have to use this on my Z6, I've got to use it with the FTZ adapter. And as you can see, once you pop this on, now you're looking at a pretty big difference in size. So this is going to be a lot less bulky in my bag now on the Z6. So as you can see, I'm going to be coming from something like that to now this. It's just a lot more compact. It's going to be a lot nicer. And then here's just another comparison of the Nikon 24 to 70 kit lens as well, just to give you guys an idea. And then, as I said, that round element, it's going to allow screw-in filters. But in order to use that screw-in filter, it comes with a few different lens hoods. So right here you got this is going to be your everyday lens hood that you'll be using if you decide to. It's going to take a 112 millimeter filter, which is going to be a gigantic filter. I am eventually going to buy one. I just got to research and figure out who even makes a filter that big. But in order to use it, you're going to have to pop this lens hood on. And this is the lens hood that has the filter threads in it. So your filter will screw onto that, and then this giant lens cap is what goes over that. This thing is like a Nikon Frisbee. So that's going to pop on like that. And now just look at the size of this freaking thing, man. That is going to be gigantic. But once I buy that filter, this is actually going to work out really well because it's got a little lock here and you untwist that. So the filter will be screwed into that lens hood in between this cap and that lens hood. So when I'm done with it, I pop it off, throw this in my bag. So then anytime I want to use an ND filter, which an ND filter is the only filter I use, so that will stay dedicated right in here. And anytime I want to use it, I'll just pop that on like so, pop this off, and I'm ready to go with my ND filter. So that's actually going to work out very well, I think. As I said, I want to get an ND filter for it, for my long exposure shooting. So I'll just have to look into who makes a 112mm filter and get ordering it. And then another reason I wanted this lens was for video. I have been using the older version for video. The problem with this is it's super heavy and bulky. Above all that, this makes a very, very loud autofocusing noise, which is like impossible to use video from it because of that. So I used to shoot these videos right in here with this lens, but I'd have to connect the mic and then run it all the way over here, which isn't a big deal because I do that anyway. But say I'm out in the field and I need a wide angle lens, which is what you're going to need if you're in, shooting like a vlog type video. It was impossible to use the audio from that because of how loud this autofocus is. So video is another big reason I wanted to upgrade to this lens, and this has been awesome for that. This is going to work great for that. But overall, I've had this lens for about, 5-6 days. Not even actually, but the ergonomics of it are awesome. I mean, it feels great in the hands, just like the rest of the Z lenses. It's just simple, basic, and almost just stealth looking. I like the look of that. So now let's jump into the more exciting part, the pictures that I have gotten out of this lens. So we're going to spin around here, jump into the computer, and I'm going to show you a few of them. Alrighty, you guys, here we are over at the computer, and now I did switch over to this lens so you can see kind of what it looks like on video. It's definitely going to be a great lens for wide angle views, for video, and then as well as vlogging if you're into that. It's going to be the perfect zoom range for that. But anyways, let's jump into this computer. I'm going to show you these pictures, and I think you'll agree with me on why I think it's going to be my favorite lens now. Alrighty, you guys, so here's that Milky Way picture I took. As I said, this is well beyond Milky Way season. It's the best of the Milky Way, is definitely below the horizon, but this was just a quick shot I got right down at a park near me. This was actually a really, really windy night, but if we zoom into the tree here, you can see the tree is relatively sharp, but you can see a few of these branches up here were blown in the wind. But this is zoomed in about 50%. I shot this at ISO 5000, 15-second shutter speed at f2.8, so it's wide open. Overall, this is a really crisp image for 5000 ISO. Zoom in up in this top corner here. This is shot at wide open f2.8, and it is relatively very sharp. Maybe a touch soft, but I mean it's tough to even say that it's soft. Another thing that really worked well is using the viewfinder. This picked up every bright star in that viewfinder, and I was able to lock in my autofocus right on a bright star, and it worked great. This is going to be such a great setup for astrophotography, but I really like the way that image turned out. Nice color contrast there. There's a little bit of light pollution from the next town over, which actually kind of added to the picture. I like the way this one turned out. Then the next morning I shot this picture. Was actually just going to scout this place. I was not fully intending to take pictures because the sun was already pretty high in the sky. It looks like it's low here, but this was probably an hour at least after sunrise, so it was shooting in pretty direct sunlight, and then I had the oak tree there to make the sunburst. But I did shoot this at f22, which is, I'm not really a big fan of shooting that high of an f-stop. The only time I ever do it is when I rarely have to slow the shutter down if I don't have a ND filter. And then at times like this, when I really want to get that starburst. It worked really, really well for this image. And another thing I did with this image, my video previously to this, is I went over the new Lightroom color grading panel, which I'm really enjoying that as well. So after this video, give that video a watch if you're into that. That's really what made this picture. If we go to the before and after here, right here, like I took this about the same settings. I just cropped this in a little bit, but look at how direct sunlight that is. And I was able to get my highlights back and really make a pretty cool image out of this. And I've already sold a couple prints of this image, and I just put it on my website a couple days ago. So, and then I also bought a print for myself I'm gonna be framing. I really like that, how that picture came out. And then like I said, for f/22, that usually degrades your image quality quite a bit, but I mean, you come in over here, well, we can even go into 100% here. And it's not f8, f10 sharpness, but for f/22, I mean, this thing, that's a phenomenal image. I could print that 20 by 30 all day, no problem, even larger. And then you come down here into the grass. I mean, that's, you can tell it's shot at f/22, but it's phenomenal image for f/22. All right, let's go into the next one. Here's another one I got at my hometown lake the other morning. I like the way this one came out. It's got all the foliage on the ground now. This was a beautiful sunrise. If we zoom in here, look at, we're at 100% here, and look at this. I mean, this was I definitely underexposed this image a little bit, but look at the water drops on that. And this is even over here, look at the water drops here. And this is all the way towards the bottom of the image, zoomed in 100%. And if I brighten that up, I mean, that is pretty damn sharp for being in 100%. Really loving this lens, man. It is sharp corner to corner, and that's just one I wanted to show you on that picture, but I like the way this picture turned out. And then this one is another image I got. This is another one I really liked how this lens did. I was driving by this scene with the sun setting back here, and I seen these row of hay bales, and I loved how the highlights from the sun were hitting the top of the hay bales. And then you had the old barn in the background. And I shot this at 16mm f8, 1/3 of a second. And if we come in 50% here, look at that. You got the barn crisp in focus, and you come all the way up here. And look at that hay bale. I mean, that is insane. Look at the sunlight hitting there. I mean, I'm zoomed in 50% here. It is tack sharp from front to back. That's just a few of the reasons why this is probably my new favorite lens. I love getting these wide angles with this foreground. It just really adds to the images. And then one more, I got this picture the other morning, and I completely overexposed this image, but I still really liked the way this turned out. It had the sun setting back here. We're way past peak foliage, but for some reason, I don't know if this area is protected from the wind, because you can see these bright orange trees in the background, and then this one really stood out to me in front of that fence line, and you can see back here, these ones have no leaves in them whatsoever. So I really like the way that scene came together too. You got all the foliage on the ground over here. And one thing I probably would have done different is switch over to my 50mm prime lens to really compress this in a little bit, but I still really like the way this wide angle image came out. And I got a bunch more pictures to edit from this lens that I'll probably be posting on Instagram, so definitely follow me on Instagram at Brady Hummel. So there you have it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the pictures. Also, definitely drop a thumbs up on the video, and let me know what other videos you want to see. If you want to see another lens review, I thought about renting the 70-200 f2.8 just to get a feel for it. I really want to try that out, but let me know if you want to see a review on that or any other videos you'd like to see. So, as always, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.